The topic we will take a look at today is the team launches and the designs of the vehicles before the 2023 season. The team that opened the launches was the first team Haas. With the new sponsor MoneyGram, the face of Haas seems to have changed a lot. Black tones are now more dominant on the vehicle. This year's favorite color is undoubtedly black. It's actually carbon fiber with a black look. Teams even consider the weight of the paint to save on vehicle weight and save milliseconds. Since the launch of the Haas tool was made only through rendered images, we still have no idea how the tool will look at technological points. We'll probably see Haas hand in the winter tests. I think it's a not bad design compared to previous years. That's why my rating for Haas is 6 out of 10. The second team to introduce its vehicle was Red Bull. The aesthetic design of the vehicle is almost the same as last year. In a few spots, the hues and intensities of the colors have changed. There are so many sponsorships in the vehicle that there is almost no room to add a new one. It seems that Red Bull has started the bread of the championship. Carbon fiber details close to the bottom of the vehicle are also concentrated in the Red Bull vehicle. It was not easy to catch up with technological innovations in this vehicle either. There is also a fact. Neither team opens their hand fully at this point. Many teams seem to have hidden some details in their render photo posts. We will probably see different details in all teams in the winter tests next week. Even though Red Bull's aesthetic design is really ambitious, it does not make a big impression on people because it is now an ordinary design. That's why my rating is 6 out of 10. The Williams team made almost no changes in aesthetic design. Looks like it was last year's livery. I likened the vehicle to the updated version of last year. But it would not be correct to guess that the images we have are the final version of the vehicle. Williams already had a design that wasn't bad, but last year they never really used it to reduce weight. Let's see if things change this year. My rating for the Williams car is 7 out of 10. Let's start with the aesthetic design first. Alfa Romeo is definitely one of the most attractive cars on the grid this year. The most important thing for Alfa to abandon the iconic red-white colors and adopt the red-black color is the radical changes of some teams. One of them is Alfa Romeo. The main reason is the weight issue that we have mentioned since the beginning of the video. Last year, the most successful team in this regard was Alfa Romeo. But this year, it was announced that the drivetrain, such as the gearbox inside the vehicle, was completely updated. This means a change in design and packaging. When we look at the vehicle from the side, it is obvious that the team has adopted a very different design language. The change in rear packaging, new cooling system, aggressive front wing and mysterious underfloor raised expectations for Alfa Romeo. Let's see what he can do when he gets on the track. Alfa Romeo is one of the most beautiful looking cars of this year in my opinion. That's why my rating is 9 out of 10. Next up is AlphaTauri. AlphaTauri made minor changes in the design language with its new main sponsor, Orlen. In addition to the main colors of the team, navy blue and white, there is now Orlen's red. He introduced his AlphaTauri vehicle with a video shot at Istanbul airport. It turns out that the vehicle has actually come right next to us. There are some obvious changes to the vehicle. The cooling systems seem to have been completely overhauled. Side pod entrances have taken on a more oval structure. The air intake above the cockpit appears to have shrunk noticeably. It would not be wrong to say that the vehicle is slowly starting to resemble Red Bull. One of the teams that we can expect to make a breakthrough with these similarities is AlphaTauri. This is partly related to the autonomy of the team. We still do not know at what level information sharing with Red Bull is. For some reason, I did not like the aesthetic appearance of AlphaTauri this year. The large use of logos may be one of the reasons for this. My rating for the car is 4 out of 10. The next launch came from McLaren. We don't need to talk much about the color scheme because it's the same as last year. It's as if McLaren is trying to create its own brand, its own colors. The silver color from the past Mercedes partnership is engraved in the memories. That's why papaya orange is particularly emphasized. Black and orange are a nice pair. But I somehow could not match the turquoise touches to this vehicle. If we look at the technical points, there is now a much more aggressive and sporty looking McLaren. Sidepod structure and inputs are very similar to Red Bull. It was already clear from the updates that came last year that they would follow this design language. There are also radical changes to the front wing. The Mercedes engine is another question mark. My score for the aesthetic design of the vehicle is 5 out of 10. I'd love to see a more aggressive-looking McLaren. The other launch of the same day came from Aston Martin. The team continues to use the iconic British racing green color. It just seems like the color is a little lighter. At every other point, the aesthetic design of the vehicle looks the same. Technically speaking, Aston Martin's path seemed to me to be a more mixed one. Declared last year's green Red Bull, this vehicle also carries traces of Alpine and Ferrari in the sidepod and rear packaging. The front wing looks very aggressive. Here's one of the biggest changes compared to last year's vehicle. Aston Martin had recruited very important employees from other teams. Many of these employees could not have a say in the 2022 vehicle as they joined the team late in accordance with the agreements. These important engineers had a say in the design of Aston Martin with the year 2023. When we compare the appearance of the vehicle with last year, it has taken a completely different form. What will come out of here is another matter of curiosity. It would not be wrong to say that Aston Martin is one of the most attractive cars on the grid. That's why I rated the design 7 out of 10. February 14th surprise came from Ferrari. The team has prepared an excellent launch. The vehicle was introduced with the Tifosi Tribune concept prepared on the test track. The vehicle we call Ferrari is classic red, we already know that. But it would not be wrong to say that the tone of red is a little lighter compared to last year. In addition, the vehicle now has much more black details. I am one of those people who enjoy seeing red and black together. This situation has divided people into two. Half of the typhoid loved the vehicle and half did not. When we look at the technical points of the vehicle, we can say that the 2022 Ferrari design language is preserved. Some spots seem much more oval and tightly packed. But still, the most important point for Ferrari is the durability of the Ferrari engine. The biggest surprise of the launch was Ferrari's 2023 car touring the track. This is a launch event that we haven't seen recently. In Sainz's words, Lord Percival Leclerc was the first to use the car. The most notable event at this time was that the Ferrari car was still having porpoising problems on the straights. Although the followers attribute it to the floor of the Fiorano track, the main thing is that Ferrari already had this problem on certain tracks last year. This year the pitching effect will be much more tightly controlled. I hope it doesn't affect the performance of the car. Another important event was that Sainz did not use the vehicle despite being told he would use it. The broadcast ended after Leclerc's tour. Was it a technical problem, or whether Leclerc's first pilot was announced indirectly? Ferrari is a really nice looking car. But I have always liked Ferraris with white tones and the Italian flag. That's why I rate the car 8 out of 10. On the morning of February 15th, there was the Mercedes launch, which I think is one of the most anticipated launches of the year. We woke up in the morning and made our coffees. To be honest, the team that made me the most wrong was Mercedes. If we look at the aesthetic design, the fact that the vehicle came in black has already surprised many followers. It seems that Mercedes has left behind the silver gray color, which comes from the roots of its history, for black again. The main reason for this is to reduce weight, as you can imagine. Except for the nose and engine cover of the vehicle, it is almost entirely made of carbon fiber. Mercedes burned the ships at the weight reduction point. In technical design, the zero side pod philosophy has turned into a side pod structure that reveals itself a little more. I don't know how to define the new name for it anymore. But again, it is obvious that it is an innovative looking design. Although the design of Mercedes was liked by everyone, for some reason, I couldn't warm up to a car made entirely of carbon fiber. Silver gray Mercedes is much more attractive to me. However, it would not be wrong to say that this vehicle also has a dark and scary structure. My rating for the car is 6 out of 10. At the time I wrote this text, Alpine still did not launch. But on the other hand, there is no one who has not seen the Alpine vehicle. Engine manufacturer, factory team Alpine has a launch, but a 16-year-old investigative journalist with a spirited boy leaks your car during shakedown shoots. Here is such a situation. In these images, it seems that the color scheme of the vehicle is exactly the same as last year. As with everyone else, carbon fiber details have increased in this vehicle. On technical points, we can say that the nose and front wing part has completely changed. But it is not easy to comment on the rest of the vehicle, because we only make a comment with spy images. If we talk about Alpine's aesthetic design, I think it was one of the best looking cars on the grid before BWT sponsorship. But now there is a color confusion in the image of the vehicle. The increase in carbon fiber points made the vehicle more attractive last year. We couldn't see the final image this year, but I can't say that I warmed up to the car very much. My rating is 4 out of 10. So what do you think about 2023 vehicles? Which tools did you like? Who disappointed you? Do not forget to leave your comments. Bye.